Welcome back. You've heard of superfoods, right? You've probably seen them at the grocery store, but hey, did you know that you can actually grow them at home? We've got Barbara Sherwood here from LDS Hospital. She's going to show us how to do it and why it may be a good idea for your kids. Thanks for being here, Barbara.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, superfoods.
Yes.
What are superfoods?
Superfoods are powered, packed, nutrient-dense foods that we can get at a grocery store, or we can also grow in our gardens. And many of them, we know them. Blueberries, beets, kale, great superfoods. The more color, the more variety of color, the better for you.
And you're saying like they're the nutrient dense, or what makes them super compared to the other foods?
For example, blueberries. Blueberries have vitamin C, fiber. The purple color, the color really brings out what's called phytonutrients. And phytonutrients are linked to helping improve heart disease, reduce your risk for cancer. And by having those foods, you put in nutrients that work in concert with your body to help your body fight off disease and also improve your nutritional status. Well,
it sounds like it'd be good. And I know blueberries, a lot of kids like those, but why is it so hard for kids to be able to get into the rest of those, like kale? And you mentioned a couple other things on that list.
Beets. Yeah, and red potatoes as well.
I never liked them. You know, why is that so difficult for kids to get into those foods?
It kind of goes back to what we're exposed to as we're growing up. I always like to use the analogy, if you grew up in China, your preferences of food are going to be very much different than if you grew up in Northern Europe. And it's not that the foods are weird. They're just not, you're just not used to them. So by exposing your children to different foods at a young age really helps them, you know, hey, this is a normal food, and they'll eat that. If they just get chicken fingers and French fries, of course they're not going to look at kale and go, oh, yay. So by growing them together in the garden, they're a little bit more invested. So having a garden that has some of those power-packed foods and having them involved in the process of when do we plant them, how do we take care of them, and really cultivating not just the plants but also a healthy diet for them to have longevity in their life.
I like that. It's kind of being a sneaky parent. On the one side, you're saying, hey, we've got a fun activity here. We're going to grow some blueberries here at home.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the kids have no idea they're getting into one of these superfoods.
Yes, exactly. And you can have fun with it. So kale is very versatile. So you can have it in a salad, you can put it in a smoothie, but you can also put it on the grill and cook it up that way, or you can also dehydrate it and then put seasoning on it and eat it as chips.
There you go. Yeah. You have a lot of options here.
And the kids can have fun doing that with you.
So now how do you grow kale or beets or blueberries at home?
So blueberries are a bit tricky. So the soil in Utah is not as acidic as it needs to be for blueberries. So I would suggest using a pot for blueberries, which could be, you know, set to the side, or else having a garden box in which you really have to keep track of the pH and have low pH in it. Kale is actually very easy. You just want to make sure to give it enough room. Yes, easy is good.
I do like easy.
So, yeah.
Because I can tell you at home I have this palm tree that I've been growing. Works great, but I have some other flowers that for whatever the life of me, I cannot make them grow without dying. So kale is easy. That's the one I can start with.
Yes. Well, with a caveat, do you have a sprinkler system?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so that'll help quite a bit. So if you're not able to get out to the garden and making sure that the soil is moist, setting your sprinklers and making sure that the setting on the timer is right and also the setting on the garden, and then paying attention, because as soon as some plants grow, they'll block your sprinkler, and then you need to make sure to adjust things so they get plenty of water. So it makes it easy for the person who's not as involved with their garden.
Now, how do you know what to do? You just kind of rattled off, okay, you have kale, you need a sprinkler system, you need this. How do I know what to do to take care of each of these individual superfoods?
Well, so when you go and buy seeds or plants from any store, you'll have instructions. So you can ask, you know, where you're purchasing, like, hey, what are some of the different varieties? There are different varieties of different plants that, you know, can do better. And LDS Hospital, we have a great website. You can go there and look for ideas. You know, and being able to, each plant has a little bit of different nuances, and as you're planning your garden, putting the appropriate plants next to each other that need the same type of care.
Any constant mistakes people are making when they're trying to be able to grow these things at home, or they're trying to be able to put these together in a meal?
I think just planning what you like. You know, it's great to plant a bunch of tomatoes, but if you're not going to eat them,
Why are you bothering?
Why are you bothering? Have a plan for it as well, you know, and paying attention to your garden, you know, and having them divided up. So make a good plan for the growing season of when things need to be planted, when they're going to be harvested, and just kind of making it your hobby for the summer.
There you go. You got a hobby for you. You got a hobby for the kids. It'll make them happy, and they're healthier at the same time.
Exactly.
You mentioned if people want to go get more information, where do they find it online?
You can go to intermountainhealthcare.com and go to the LDS link. So Intermountain Healthcare, we have several hospitals in the valley. Each one of them has information when you click on the link, but great resources. We have a great team at Intermountain.
You betcha. And of course, we have a link to that on our website at goodforutah.com. We're talking with Barbara Sherwood here from LDS Hospital. Thanks for giving us a couple ideas and help me feel less intimidated about doing my own kale or blueberry garden.
Yes, you're welcome.
There you go. You better check up with me and see how well I do.
I will.
We'll check up with you after the commercial break.